Gate thus, the Bear of the West roam there, chapters 6 through 12. And in these chapters we find, of course, the Senate hearings, espionage, President Nixon, which I should have mentioned at the beginning of the chapters, a wasp flying around me, and a very angry, pregnant Mexican woman. Oh my god, I'm enjoying this way more than I should. So, ladies and gentlemen, Wombag's, of course, stories, chapters 6 through 12. This is a continuation of the last one, which you haven't seen it, do not worry, it will be linked and the end card at the end of this video. Or there'll be a little card somewhere popping up to give you an idea of where this is supposed to be. Either way, though. So, here's the thing. This story is better than it should be. And Wombag himself basically stated that these other chapters were not his best work. And I'd like to correct him on that and help his possible low self-esteem, is that the only thing that's not his best work is the minor grammatical errors and some things that don't make a lot of sense, and more or less the lack of fucking translations.
English, motherfucker! Do you speak it?
Oh my god, seriously, could you not put translations at the end of the fucking chapters? I mean, Francis...
Looking good, Francis.
In the fight we chose, and even Freedom Rings at least had the good sense to put translations at the end of the damn chapter. But that is neither here nor there. What I'm going to say, however, is that these chapters are fucking amazing. And something I'd like to say was confirmed. In chapters 1 through 6, I had stated that tequila and other American wares would be very popular in the special region, and would even kind of be very much so popular, including tequila. And by God, I finally get to use this Razor Fist clip I have been meaning to use for a long time and find a place to use it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will let Razor Fist express my feelings.
Fuck you! I was right! Fuck you! I was right! Fuck you! I was right!
God help me if in the fight we chose, Charlotte does become a ranger, or even a Green Beret. I will use that clip again. But, moving on. Where did we leave off in the last story? Well, the last story we left off with, of course, Pina Colada's plan backfiring with the whole non-aggression little clause saying that if, either one of them is attacked, yeah, that backfired on her more than, well, anything the fucking Democrats are doing nowadays. And yes, I just dated the video saying that because, yeah, the Democrats do actually play a fucking role in the story. We'll get to that, I promise. But, that plan backfires, and now Pina Colada, as well as her knights, of course, are booted out of Italica. And along with her, of course, her knights are captured. Fearing the worst, of course, she tries to offer them slavery.
I don't like where this is going.
And even fucking bribery, and oh my god, help me above. The interactions with that, go watch it for yourself, go read this for yourself. That is just, oh, it's so good. Okay, moving on now. So, back, of course, at Alness Hill. Alness Hill has basically erupted into a small frontier town, which for the Pacific States of Americans, who are basically cowboys and rangers and gunslingers, they're fucking loving it. It's nostalgic. And since this is in the 1950s, that even adds more to that nostalgia. And everyone's loving it, actually. The people who come to Alness Hill town, even though they are surrounded by walls protecting them, they're adopting the American Western culture. They're getting their 10-gallon hats, their Stetsons, their boots, their jeans, the flannel, They're getting themselves some bowie knives, alcohol, and all that goodness to wet their whistle.
And no sidewinding, bushwhacking, hornswoggling, crocker is gonna roll away biscuit cutter.
I swear to God, if we do not get some good old-fashioned frontier gibberish in the near future, I'm going to be very upset. So, of course, everything's going good, except Rory, who is being a peeping fucking Tom. And is doing... Oh my God, swear to God, this is... everything she does pay off in the end. I promise you guys that by chapter 12, but we're still in the earlier chapters. So, moving on. So talks are in place to actually get some special guests to, of course, talk to Congress, talk to the world, because of the refugees that died from a dragon attack. And like in the anime, it does, like in not only the original Gate light novel, the anime, and the manga, it is a very entertaining and very glorious reaction. Especially with Rory, who, unlike, of course, the last one, or in the actual source material, this one, she adopts the American bravado of being Dutch.
Excuse me, the fuck did you just say?
Now, before we do get to the Senate hearing, we do have to talk about some of the stuff and interactions that do happen. One of the things is, of course, something that is never really brought up in the show all that much. It's hinted at, but it's never really brought up. How they handle prostitution. And Wombag, I gotta give you this. Good on you for actually handling this tastefully. They handle it like any other frontier town. They have a saloon that is specifically tailored towards certain clientele. The women are, of course, required to wear protection, or at least have protection. And, like I said, it's just really good. Like I said, go read this for yourself. It is, honest to God, really fucking good. But as this is happening, and speaking of prostitution, of course, I've got to touch on, of course, the obvious one of the slums. Like in the Gate story, there are slums in the Empire that are more or less just the ghetto, where people go to, of course, get their jollies off, and, yeah. In this story, however, the Marines are sent in. The Marines are sent in to, of course, handle setting up a safe house and being ready for future operations. Among them, which I wish he could have expanded on, I wish we could have got something about that, maybe do like a spin-off story, kind of talking about, you know, the life of Almas Hill, kind of showing us this, but among them is a warrior bunny called Hops. I'm not joking on that, he literally did a Zootopia reference. You glorious, glorious bastard. Hops is talking about how she was a protector, and wanted to ask, and was happy, of course, being allowed to join the U.S. military, and even asked, you know, about her being a protector again. They tell her that, you know, unlike over here, over in America, protectors are actually known as police officers, or cops. And she starts playing with the idea of Officer Hops.
Of course!
Again, Wombag, you magnificent bastard. Just you magnificent bastard. Either way, though. Once they actually do get to, of course, Officer Hops's friend, well, they come across the daughter of her friend, and, of course, find out that her friend has scarlet fever. And when the mobsters of that area come to, of course, try and mess things up, well, the Marines, primarily one Marine called Freeman, no, not Gordon Freeman, although that would absolutely be goddamn hilarious, no, Freeman does a Batman.
I'm Batman.
No, not that Batman.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
That Batman. Yeah. Oh yeah. He does that Batman. Where he literally holds the guy out of a window and basically is like, I'm Batman. I can't do Tim Burton's Batman justice. I really can't. Again, the way they handle it is that they basically tell him the Grim fucking Reaper's here. And not gonna lie, I really do hope we get to see more of this because, again, I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. I really am. So, fucking good on you. Let's just keep going with the storyline, shall we? So, continuing on, of course, we do get a little bit more with the original 3rd Recon group. However, aside from the 3rd Recon group, we then also learn a little bit more about the rest of the world, including a Viking tribe that's chieftain's daughter's been kidnapped and apparently is, kind of been smitten by the Brazilian ambassador's son, and yeah, that whole storyline you gotta go read for yourself because it is absolutely goddamn hilarious. Especially how much the people who were told to go find the daughter are going to be paid as basically bodyguards. This world is fucking amazing, and I love it. But what I love is that through chapters 7 through 12, we learn more about Eastwood's backstory and sort of how he was a wide-eyed recruit now turned to a grizzled, just more remorseful veteran. So, once we actually do get to the... well, before we even get to the other side of the gate, we have to talk about more about the plot lines that are happening on this side of the gate. So, the guys who basically escaped the captivity of the Empire is Zeke and Victor. Now, the cool thing about it is that apparently, apparently the person who basically starts getting some of the documents from some legionaries they kill, is talking about a gas attack that is going to happen on Italica. So, Zeke, not even joking on this, literally gets to a P-51 Mustang, starts spouting off freaking American Union State propaganda, how every man's a king, while killing wyverns, carrying the poison gas, and basically saves their asses, while Vic is actually known as Victoria, and is a billionaire's daughter who's basically been raising hell on the politicians up and down the Senate, trying to get his daughter back. Again, this also ties into the Viking plotline. You have to go fucking read this. It's actually really damn good. Now that that has been tied up, let's finally get to the Senate hearing, to them crossing the gate. And again, I love it. They go visit... Princess Pina Colada, of course, comes and visits a prison. She finds out that some of her knights were put in isolation for being just a little bit too ornery, and some of them being in straitjackets for being a little too ornery. And it's really good. It really is fucking good. The interactions, the food being them eating, them loving it, and the fact of, hey, you know, if I gotta go to jail for this, then by all means, I'll fucking happily go to jail for this shit. And then they finally cross the gate, and we meet some CIA, freaking Federalist, ex-Federalist, of course, because, you know, the Pacific States of America won that fucking war, and the Pacific States of America are actually the real America, not your fucking Caesar. Now, the reaction, of course, to everything is really good, because they don't just talk about, you know, the Senate hearing in these chapters. No. They actually do talk about the culture of America. And again, Wambag, gotta give it to you, brother. You have basically outdone yourself on this one. Because not a lot of Gate stories, from what I've read, have actually kind of talked about the cultural aspects. Or at least how the group actually reacts to culture. And the fact that this is Countess Mui who's with them, along with her two maids, Persia and Delilah, the warrior bunny. This is where things get kind of fun, because Mui, her maids, they are absolutely in love, engrossed, fascinated by Western culture, or at least the culture of the Wild West. And they want to learn more about it. They are shown murals. There's even a philosophical there's a philosophical bit in this story, in these chapters that I absolutely do love, talking about how the sun sets in the west, casting the shadow of the legacy of the West upon the Earth, so it's never forgotten, or something along that lines. Again, I can't do it justice. Go fucking read this for yourself. It is so worth the read. And then, a missed opportunity. A very much so missed opportunity when they go shopping for clothes, because, again, Mui and her maids have basically made it pretty damn clear that they are very much so fascinated by Western culture. You could have gotten them cowboy outfits, cowgirl outfits, you could have gotten them something. But no, a cocktail dress, some business attire, something. Again, missed opportunity. Very much so missed opportunity here. But I will forgive you for this if I get to see Countess Mui in an adorable little cowgirl outfit. Just make her adorable as all hell. Just give us the cute. Give us the wholesomeness. Or hell, Give us a side chapter of her reacting to Western movies. Fucking something, Wombag.
Do it! Just do it!
So they learn more about Western culture, and when they do get to the Senate hearing, it gets fun, because there are two plot lines to this. Number one plot line is, of course, the meeting between the higher-ups and Pina Colada. We don't care about that. Moving the fuck on. Throwing that to the side. What we're here for is the Senate hearing, and all of it just is good, and I really am sad that Countess Spewey didn't get her time to shine on this, you son of a bitch. But I forgive you for Rory, because Rory goes full American and says, "The fuck is wrong with you? Are you a fucking idiot?"
How delightful.
Instead of the "Are you a goddamn idiot?" I'm sorry. She learned this from the Americans. And I want you to go read this for yourself because it's so good, especially the reactions of course, Magic, the elf, and everything else in between. It's really fucking good. But when they get to the Smithsonian, they're learning more about the wars. They're learning more about it, and a lot of them are shocked at the body count, essentially, the bloodshed, the actual everything. But what really fascinates Countess Mui and her maids, as well as everyone else, is that Western culture, once again, especially Native American culture, the Braves. And the Warrior Bunny is fascinated. Especially the story about a woman who was rescued by a Native American tribe and how she got tattoos. The story itself is fascinating. I want you guys to go check that out. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Native Americans started mingling with the Warrior Bunnies, and Warrior Bunnies were like, you know what? We don't want to be here no more. We want to go to these Native Americans. We want to kind of live with them now and start a whole new tribe or a whole new culture, essentially. Kind of mingling two brave warrior cultures, two brave frontier cultures together. Again, it writes itself. There's a spin-off story right there. There's a goddamn spin-off story right there for you.
Just take all my money. Oh, not this soon, not this soon! Ah!
We'll get to that at the end of this video, I promise you. Moving on! So, instead of flying like they did beforehand, yes, I know I may have skipped that, instead of flying, Pina wants to go by train. Which was a good thing, because they get to see the scenery. The beautiful landscapes that they pass by, the great scenery itself. And there's a touching scene that I'm not going to talk about, but it is so touching. And I want you guys to go check it out for yourself. Link in the pinned comment to chapter 7 onward. Just go read this for yourself. It's so good. But then we get to the train and the spies, and oh dear God, here we go.
This is where the fun begins.
So the train is going as always, and this is the part of the story that is always prevalent in every Gate story. The international spies attacking the defenders to try and kidnap the guest. And the players in this: Australian syndicalist, Russians, because it's not a Gate story without the Russians, and the KAS, aka the British.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
The way the whole thing goes down is actually pretty fucking hilarious, and I'd recommend you go read this, because the Butcher, who actually killed a lot of good, patriotic, freedom-loving Rangers, took their sequoias as trophies. And Eastwood is one of his hunts that he has yet to finish. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that the son of a bitch hasn't been tried yet for war crimes is amazing. But the guy does get his comeuppance, and we'll get to that, I can promise you. But they begin running away, and the one place they run away to is a little farmstead near Lake Tahoe. And it happens to be Eastwood's farm, where his wife is listening to Marty Robbins' El Paso, a honest-to-God, really good song. And I'm not gonna lie, when I hear the description of his wife, who is a beautiful señorita, who is a veteran of the Canadian-Mexican War, who is just a veteran in general, who's a gunslinger, a sniper, a badass woman, and Eastwood having a very good taste in strong women.
Seriously?
What?
I just heard you get hard.
Her introduction is actually pretty fucking hilarious, but she is pregnant, of course, with their child that is going to come anytime soon, and he's hoping to be home for when that happens. I mean, he's home now and is going to his farmstead to lay low a bit, which, by the way, his farmstead's is essentially a pony ranch or a stud ranch, essentially, where they breed horses to ride, to be whatever the customer needs to be. My family did do that for a while, and then they started getting killed by coyotes and other mean bastards out there in the wilderness, so we are only down to the one pony and a jackass, so, you know, I can attest to actually how hard it is to actually run one of those. But what I will say is this. Her introduction is absolutely pretty fucking hilarious, but I will admit that the image of Patricia that I have in my head, I kind of see her looking like,
Catherine Zeta-Jones. Cowboy! Cowboy!
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Or the chick from Battle LA. Or fucking the Fast and the Furious movies, the Hispanic chick. You know the one I'm talking about. So her introduction is actually pretty fucking hilarious because it's a scene straight out of Blues Brothers. Yeah, she literally kicks down the door, has a Mondragon rifle, and opened fires on the bastards. And is a very angry Mexican woman. Literally thinking they're freaking IRS. Even yells that she ain't gonna pay no freaking imperialistic taxes. So Eastwood, much like the freaking Blues Brothers, who was dating a mob chick, a mobster daughter, I mean, and completely freaking pissed off on the marriage, basically literally saying, honey, hold your fire, honey, it's me, it's your husband.
It's good to see you, sweetheart.
You contemptible pig.
And she's happy, and then freaking clocks him. And there's a beautiful scene between the two, all while freaking wide-eyed freaking... But this... The whole scene is awesome, I'm not gonna lie, guys. You gotta read this fucking scene. It's beautiful, and something I've actually witnessed myself with a few of my family members. Not fucking joking on that. But then comes the interaction between Patricia and the rest of the Gate crew, and Mui and Rory are freaking star-eyed, talking to this woman, learning more about her, and even talking about her Mexican heritage, how badass Mexicans can be, and just being an all-around badass señorita. Fucking love. Again, I picture her as Catherine Zeta-Jones. I'm not gonna lie, folks. But the best part about this is that Eastwood's kind of looking at Mui, more or less, as sort of how they're gonna see their kid. Just being starry-eyed, them talking about their time, just raising them to be good people. And then comes the fun one. Because, once again, just to hammer in the Blues Brothers feel of it, Rawhide is playing on the radio as Princess Pina Colada, which, by the way, fun little thing, she found out that Eastwood was actually a lowborn, supposedly, and of course Patricia absolutely hates the fucking monarchy, and realizes that if she wants to fucking live, she's gonna pull her own damn weight, because Patricia don't fucking play. She'll get the chakra, and she does get the chakra, especially when freaking Pina Colada starts walking mud into the house, which angry Mexican woman with a chakra. Freaking, she's gonna get the chakra. And she literally, it's fucking hilarious, honestly, because as someone who does live on a farm and actually does carry feed to feed animals and actually does take care of animals, I completely could relate to this, because I've had people come to my land, actually, whenever they visited, and whenever I have my friends over and they bring their friends over, whenever I have to go feed animals, it's like, hey, you want to come help out? They fucking struggle to take the feed bags to and from some of the carts to where we have to fill up some of the our feed containers. So, accurate description of how someone actually struggles on a farm. Accurate fucking description, Wambag. As a farmer, yeah, no, accurate description. But what's actually fucking hilarious is Pina trying to handle a horse and then starts getting dragged by the foot by one of the horses. Again, I absolutely goddamn love it. I'm loving this way more than I should. I really am, because, again, having my family had run a stud ranch before, I have seen some people get dragged by the foot by a horse. Fucking hilarious. Well, also dangerous. Anyway, you think that's enough of her torment? No, it's not. Because Pina then gets stabbed in the foot. I am enjoying her torment way more than I should, but either way, though. So, dinner is, of course, coming around, and everyone's sitting down. They're getting ready to eat, and Rory almost fucking dies. Or at least Patricia's about to kill this bitch. She's already an angry Mexican woman. We've already just added a fucking pregnancy in there. Already you got a very angry, pregnant Mexican woman. And you think it couldn't get any worse. No, it does get worse because, of course, the KAS show up, fucking shoot up the house, and we get an angry, pregnant Mexican woman fucking yelling out everything she can and literally showing that America, because she breaks open a secret stash of weapons that they may or may not have captured during the war, start handing them out, and Tuca, of course, actually gets a bow and arrow, except the arrows are explosive tipped. Yeah, she gets some explosive tipped arrows. I fucking love this. I will happily have this kind of woman as a wife or as a girlfriend. I'm sorry. Any kind of partner who keeps a secret stash of weapons just in case some motherfucker tries to start trouble on my land? Yeah, nope, I'm dating that person. I am fucking dating that person. I don't care if it's man or woman. That's my kind of partner. That is my kind of partner right there. That's my kind of boyfriend or girlfriend right there. So, of course, the assault does happen, and the butcher is calmly watching all this, and Patricia does see this motherfucker and starts seeing red, and is about to take the shot when her water breaks. Yeah, we're getting a birth under fire here. So, they take her down to where Mewy and her maids are, and the maids have helped give birth to Mewy before. Says, we got this, we know what we're doing. So, while they're doing that, Eastwood, of course, goes off to do this, and again, this whole assault is absolutely fucking amazing. And Rory, of course, during the entire thing, gets used as a meat shield on top of a fucking grenade, blows up, and she's about to go after the butcher, of course, which, by the way, Eastwood's friend, Japanese friend Ken, and of course a CIA agent, comes in, and the CIA agent, of course, has a new rifle from Armalite. If I had to guess the rifle, which Wambag, you are more than happy to sound off in the comments section, if I had to guess the rifle, I'd say it's either an AR-10, which would be chambered in 7.62 by 54 or 308 Winchester, which would make sense considering that was technically the first, which I know everyone's going to correct me in the comments section, but that was technically the first Armalite rifle that Stoner designed, UG Stoner designed, or at least the Armalite Corporation made, and tried getting a military contract with, the U.S. military with, but primarily kind of got it with other countries instead. If you want to learn more about it, Forgotten Weapons. Go watch Ian McCollum's video on the AR-10. It is a fascinating development history of that rifle. It legitimately is. And I'm not gonna lie, be it the modern iterations or even the Brownells one, which is discontinued, I really do wish they'd bring it back into production. I want a fucking AR-10, be it the classic model or even the more modern iterations. I legit want an AR-10. Not gonna lie. So, the big thing about this is that Rory, surviving, of course, hauls ass after the butcher. And the butcher, of course, is kind of taken aback because she's, she is kicking his ass. This guy who has hunted the most badass people of all time, the fucking Rangers, yes, I know Mountaineers, fuck off, is getting his ass handed to him by a demigoddess, essentially. And slowing her down? Claymore. Hey, Claymore mine. Okay, I can see that actually. And yeah, she blacks out, wakes up, and is kind of pulling herself together. And everyone's kind of and the people who are there are kind of asking, how the flying fuck are you still alive? But as this is going on, Eastwood, remembering that a baby's being born, his child, hauls ass back to the house, gets there, and it is a beautiful, healthy baby boy. And everyone's happy. The moment is beautiful, and then Rory has to ruin the moment.
What the fuck?
And when they ask her how the fuck is she still alive, she tells them that she's technically immortal and has regenerative properties. And Patricia, being the very much so evil Mexican woman she is, tells Eastwood to hold their baby. He does so, and in a quick goddamn flash, he grabs his sequoia and starts unloading into Rory, and then walks up and starts beating the ever-loving hell out of her, and does the one thing that only a Mexican woman can do, that only an angry Hispanic woman can do, that only an angry Latin woman can do. Be it Spaniard, Haitian, Cuban, Mexican, frickin' Brazilian, all of the Latin cultures and all of the Latin categories can do, and is able to put the fear of fucking God into her. All the while Eastwood's calming down his son, telling him that, you know, it's okay, Mom is just angry with the crazy lady. And that was chapter 12. 7 through 12. What are my thoughts? Goddamn amazing. I don't know why Wambag thought this was not his best work. That is a confidence issue in my opinion. This is amazing. The only real issue I have with these 7 through 12, especially the whole story as a whole, has to be minor grammatical errors. Wambag, I'm going to have to ask you, get a friend or someone to kind of look through everything, make sure everything's fine, you know, make sure you find the errors, unless, of course, it's someone who's speaking with an accent or is speaking broken English. Then, perfectly fine. Again, another one I really, really want you to try and do is translations at the end of the damn story, as well as a playlist at the end of the damn story. Or, at least in the future, when you finally finish the story, publish a playlist of all the songs you have in the damn story. Because as much as I do love the fact that I have been able to make a playlist, which, once again, end video and or a card somewhere throughout this whole video I have made, seriously, a great story. Now, what am I gonna... Now, with everything I've said so far, what is gonna happen in the future? Or at least what I'd like to see happen in the future, and what's the possibility of what's going to happen in the future? Well, speculation time. What I believe is going to happen is more American culture is going to keep going on, especially the ideas of life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and of course the Second Goddamn Amendment. I can see more of a storyline with Zeke and of course Miss Rockwell. I can see Hops, of course, learning more about American law enforcement and kind of, you know, studying to want to be a police officer. Mui, I can see, because she fell in love with her falling in love with the Western culture, as well as the American culture altogether, I can see her trying to reach out to the Americans to try and do a cultural exchange program, or try and make her city much like, or her nation as a whole, much like the American West. You know, try and get sheriffs in her towns, try and get some rangers, maybe work with the military to kind of build up her own nation's forces. Again, aside from that, I can see her trying to be like a little cowgirl, try and get her own little six-shooter. Which, for her first gun, I can see them giving her a 38, because a 38 is actually controllable. You know, it's got a little bit of a kick, but it is a very controllable handgun. I've owned a 38. It is a very nice handgun to shoot. Or maybe get her a 380. 380 is, once again, a nice little caliber to shoot. It's actually very controllable, very good, so I can see them actually giving her a very nice handgun, be it a 6-shooter or an automatic. As for what models, or at least what types, be it Colt, which again, there's the Colt Single Action Army. That one actually is chambered in a variety of calibers from 22, 380 to 38, 357, which even if you give her a 357 variant, it will shoot 38 special, because for anyone who's ever owned a 357 revolver of any type, you know that, yeah, moving on. In terms of an automatic, actually, Model 25. A Colt automatic Model 25, or at least one chambered in 25 ACP, or 380 ACP. Again, any smaller caliber handgun for her at her current age of 11. So, again, just one of those things of, I can see them gifting her a pretty cool handgun, or at least a custom-made handgun. Maybe give her a belt, you know, like a gun belt, so that way she has her little six-shooter right there on her hip. Hell, I could see the Native Americans being reached out and being like, hey, you know, the Warrior Bunny tribes want to learn more about your culture and learn more about you, want to kind of integrate into you. Again, I can see that happening. Another one, which is a very much so one that Wambag could do as a side chapter, movies. They've talked about the moving pictures, and since this is 1953, there are a lot of good films that came out in 53. Or hell, between 1950 and 53. One of the big ones is, of course, War of the Worlds from 1953 in full color. Another one, of course, is obviously the one they talked to her about, and even ones from John Wayne's era. Or even, and this is a biggie, mind you, them introducing the creature flicks, or even some classic horror movie monster flicks like Frankenstein, or The Thing from the Black Lagoon, The Day the Earth Stood Still. Again, so many movies from the 1950s, specifically from 1950 to 1953, that could be introduced, or just the 50s in general. Again, a lot of good stuff that could be introduced as a side chapter, or even a spin-off novel, a spin-off fanfic where it's Mewey and the maids reacting to these movies with Miss Blanche there kind of explaining things, or even having Eastwood there kind of explaining things. But again, so many things that could be done. There's so many things that could go forward. Now, aside from the public relations thing and the hearts and minds thing, what about the rest of the special region? What about the rest of what's going on? Well, obviously, the fire dragon, the fire-breathing dragon part is going to come up, obviously, because, you know, you can't have a Gate story without that happening. So I can see them actually putting together a posse, and honest-to-God posse, to actually go after the son of a bitch, and going on and hunting the bastard, and it being a big old thing. Hell, I could see them actually recruiting hunters, because the moment you put out that you need skilled hunters to go after a big fire-breathing lizard, everyone and their damn mother's gonna come knocking. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if a few braves came a-knocking to want to prove themselves to their ancestors. Or, not really their ancestors, but to the spirits of their ancestors. Again, so many ways you can do that arc. The capital, at least the capitulation of the capital, is one that, because we have Marines now in the capital itself, I can see the slums being slowly turned into an American paradise of sorts. Them going after all the warlords, the grim fucking Reaper Freeman, literally putting the fear of God in people, and literally, and again, just so many things that can be done with that. But the big one is Pina Colada. Pina has seen America. She's experienced, she has seen firsthand American combat between two sides using the same weapons. She's literally seen all this stuff, their culture, everything, and knows what's going to happen if they continue this war with them, unless they're able to get better. So I can see her being used as the mediary that she is wanting to be done, and obviously still frickin' having a bone to pick with Eastwood. But continuing on with that, of course, with the other arcs, the Rondell arc, the City of Wizards, once the Americans go there, I can see them actually being fascinated by the American sciences, all the stuff that they can bring with them, because unlike other Gate stories, if Wambag does this right, he could have philosophers or other intellectual minds coming with their theses, with their proof, and actually showing and presenting to these people. And there'd be a massive intellectual exchange, because with sciences, there always is that intellectual respect between two intellectual fields. So I can see those two actually going back and forth, them trying to be, hey, we'd like to go across the gate to learn more about this, or, you know, them being like, hey, we'd like to come here and study about the magic, see about the scientific properties there are, and Layla being the sort of go-between between the two levels of intellectual societies. As for how I see the future going on, well, aside from the obvious war that's brewing within the story itself on their side of the gate, as long as Wombag does not fall under the same bullshit trope of the Black Mist in a Residence Cascade that the dimension is falling in on itself, bullshit, by the way, I could see a great exchange happening. I can even see them learning more about the magic and science and then being able to open up their own gate. Opening and closing the gate and being able to essentially see, you know, if time passes the same way as it does with them. Or even them opening up another gate in there and them meeting modern-day Japan. Again, the possibilities here, because it's basically, because the gate falls in that whole multiverse theory realm of science, I could see them doing a lot with the gate, or I can see at least a spin-off story where the PSA, or at least a new Americas created within the special region, go exploring the gates and go exploring the different worlds. So Wombag, I'm not gonna lie with you, dude, you have something here that could be done right if done right. And not lying, you got something here. So please, do actually follow through, do something nice. And for the love of God, please, just for the adorableness of it, just for the cuteness of it, we need a Mui adventure. We need a Mui adventure in the American cultures. We need a Mui adventure of her exploring all the American cultures and her being exposed to it, her watching the movies, her wanting to be like a cowgirl, her learning about how to ride a horse, how to trick shoot. For the love of God. Please. Just, I don't care if it's one chapter. I don't care if it's even a section of the chapter. Just like Charlotte in the fight we chose, please, just please, just please. Either way, though, what do I think of the story as a whole with the current 12 chapters? If you haven't figured it out yet, it's good. It's actually somewhat polished and doesn't have a lot of grammatical errors. It has very minor grammatical errors, but not a whole lot. So, yeah, it's actually really good. And I'm still surprised by it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. As always, I've been Airsoft Al, the Common's Airsofter, who, well, reads really awesome fan fictions to kind of let you know about it. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually would like to take a look more at Wombag's work, because not only has he done a very popular Fallout and Ruby crossover, which is 60 chapters long, and has spin-offs out the wazoo, but also a horror, a Cthulhu horror thriller that we will check out in October, as well as a few other zombie horror flicks and other things as well. But, till then, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I've been Airsoft Al, and if you want to help out with future content, consider donating to the PayPal down below. And if you want to help with future stories, name them off in the comment section down below, because YouTube likes to hide the comments of links. Sad to say. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and next time we go back to, of course, Harry Potter and the IMP, the boys and girls of Hell of a Boss, with The Boy Who Lives meets IMP, and oh boy, we got ourselves an angry Millie, because if you thought an angry pregnant Mexican woman was one thing, wait till you see an overprotective, angry imp mother. And if episode 6 of Hell of a Boss is anything to go by, oh yeah, this is gonna be fucking fun. Till next time.